Warning, in this video there will be spoilers. Everyone, welcome to the Moose Crew. Moo here, and today we're going to be talking about Warforcybertron Siege.
It may look bad, but I assure you, it's as bad as it looks.
This show is the first out of 3 different chapters about the war for Cybertron. And war is something you will be hearing lots about.
War is war. 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 War.
Woo! Alright, so let's go ahead and get to it. This is actually the best case for a war. You have a large amount of vehicles, or soldiers, and blasts coming in from all different angles. It's not a one-sided and minute fight. There is another large battle scene between 2 factions that actually seem to be more balanced than as opposed to one side going to win, but those are few and far between. And there's some cool action scenes, don't get me wrong. This show has some great content in it. As far as if you're coming in just for action, you will not be disappointed. Actually, one of my favorite scenes caught me off guard and is still amazing. What? Do you have this? Takara, what does Hasbro? No blade. I want the blade. I mean, seriously, Jetfire steals all the fights he's in. He is amazing. Just look in the way the back missiles work, and just distract and or hit people. He flies off like a freaking god. It is amazing. And once again, that blade rocks it. He is absolutely my favorite character when it comes to combat in this series. Hands down, no problem. And that blade, oh my god. Okay, that's it. I'm looking this up. Ah, you have it. Okay, let's take a look here. I don't know if this store is trustworthy, so I'll have to look it up. But, oh my gosh. Oh, that sword. Bye. Alright, and some other things that subverted my expectations was how often Prime got his ass kicked. And I know he's not supposed to be the same Prime from G1 or other sort of iterations of the character, where he does kick, including that of Megatron's. But it's still, it's a bit rough to watch. And I'm really hoping in the future seasons he will actually kick some tailpipe. He deserves it. And I was absolutely flabbergasted by this next scene. Just look at this. Toast. Destroy. Oh, they should have led the war with this. How epic is that? Sorry, I just had to change my underwear after seeing that. Oh. Alright, let's watch the next one. I'm excited. Yeah, get some. This is why he's in this pose. Oh. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the story now. A whole bunch of action is awesome, and there's way more that I didn't show. But, what good is it if there's not a reason? I think it was the movie Idiocracy. I want to know whose ass is farting and why it's farting. So let's find out who's fighting and why they're fighting. The chances of you never hurting an Autobot or Decepticon might be slim to none. Let me go ahead and fill you in. Okay, the first faction that you need to know about is the Autobots. And they are losing the war. And that's pretty much all you need to know at this point. The Autobots are less ruthless than the Decepticons are, but other than that, the Autobots don't have nearly as compelling of a case it sounds like compared to the Decepticons, which we'll touch on a little bit later. Let's go ahead and talk about the Decepticons. This faction, they're winning the war pretty much. they are considered more of the bad guy of the actual series, but I don't think they're really that bad. They're very sympathetic. Like, some of the characters are not. Some of them start out being sympathetic, and some of them end up very much not so. And there's the inverse then. But the Decepticons as an overall faction, they had it rough to start with. You kind of feel bad for them. I felt really bad for them, actually. And finally, the last faction we need to cover is Mercenaries. Essentially, the Mercs work for Energon. So you bring them Energon, they'll do what you want. You know how that goes. I'm curious to see how it'll play out in the future, though, so here's hoping it's good. So a long time ago, these two were working together, along with Alpha Trion and Ultra Magnus, and they fought their suppressors, or the people that held them down. Or did they? It's kind of confusing because they go a lot of back and forth on how things were and what got them there.
You're in no position to demand anything except my treaty.
And condemn all of Cybertron to slavery. I will not do that, Megatron.
What do you know of slavery? Of the Energon mines or gladiatorial pits? My brothers and sisters were predetermined to suffer, while you and your kind did nothing.
Everything that you and I have gone through, we fought for the same things.
I really don't know the specifics, and I want to know what the specifics are. Like, why did Optimus Prime and other ones turn against their own people, the Autobots? Are the people that are still Autobots, like, slave-owning, or however you want to put it? These guys had it rough, and now that, it makes sense they want revenge, at the very least, to just get rid of their suppressors, the people that are holding them back.
What do you fight for now? Alpha Trion would be ashamed.
Of us both, I think.
I will not accept your treaty.
Then we end this war here now.
So you get all these hints as you're watching it, and sometimes it's conflicting information, which makes sense. Two different sides of the different viewpoints will have disagreements, and my thing is, history is history, right? Facts are facts, right? But within this established canon that they're building, they drop you little breadcrumbs of what actually happened, and you don't really get to find out much more. It's confirmed that Megatron murdered Alpha Trion. Doesn't tell you why. Like, okay, was he one of these suppressors? Oppressed, not suppressors, god damn it.
Autobot, elitist scum! Do you have any idea what you did to us for a millennia? Of course you don't. Too busy sipping Energon behind your gilded walls, you spoiled little...
You have no idea what I'm about.
I was predetermined to slave away in the mines, pulling Energon from the core until death or deactivation, so you could just race through life.
Enough!
I mean, you see what I mean, right? This is not just so plain and simple. But speaking of enough, oh my gosh, Prime has a few temper tantrums that just kind of break character for me. It just seems so out of place and ridiculous.
Let them go! We are not the Decepticons! Do you understand what is at stake? We need your help. Enough! I won't let you enslave it!
You have Prime, who's being way more aggressive than normal. Then you have Megatron, who is shown to be more empathetic and actually cares. He literally cares about Cybertron and its future. I can say maybe a few other iterations of him did as well, but this one, it feels genuine all through and through. I mean, he does want to lead, but I feel like that part of him is stemming from he can't trust anybody else to lead, really.
This war was started as a revolution, not a genocide. For a better Cybertron, we must reach their sparks and minds.
Some of us don't want your vision of Cybertron.
You're running low on Energon. You're desperate. taking risks and overextending yourselves. I don't care what you want. However, I want to see an end to this war as much as you do. Denounce the Autobot fanatics and join us. Help me put a stop to all of this destruction.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
Yes, the words of your leader. Honorable, but senseless.
Yeah, well, I'll stick with him.
Megatron, he tries to do right to an extent, right? So you have him doing his best. He's really working his hardest, and he has saboteurs. And you would think, oh, it must be the Autobots. No, he has his own teammates. Someone would be like, hey, you want some death sticks? Oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Maybe I shouldn't do death sticks. Oh, you know what? Death sticks will really help you defeat the Autobots. I promise.
This is something I must consider.
We can acquire the Allspark. I can manipulate it to create a reformation wave that will de-res every single Autobot. From there, I can easily reformat them as loyal Decepticons.
That looks painful.
Lord Megatron, somebody has betrayed you. An Autobot has done something that you wouldn't like.
Magnus to Optimus. Megatron is looking for the Allspark. They plan to reformat the Autobots. Total annihilation. I repeat, total.
Oh no, I'll do the most radical thing ever. Anything to stop the Autobots.
You impose too many safeguards on my method.
You are now free to use whatever methods you see fit, but find the location of the Autobots.
Once again, I will have to use more unorthodox methods.
Do it. Shockwave.
And it gets progressively worse each time. Next up is we're going to be talking about the flaws of the show. And there are a lot, but at the same time, it's very opinionated. So you may have liked what I didn't. And one thing that I really didn't like was the transformations that they talked about making such a big deal. They're using somebody from, I believe, Takara to show them how to do the transformations in this show by using the actual toys and helping them out with that. They hide so much of it, you can't even appreciate it that much. There's a couple good shots, and most of them with Megatron.
Just be careful.
I am just trying to survive.
I was not asking you to...
You were about to.
Am I that obvious?
that happens a lot throughout the show. I had enough clips at the beginning to prove my point that I was just like, I'm not gonna bother doing the entire show. You would have almost the entire show, including in this video, if I decided to do that. And this video already has quite a bit of footage in it. Please don't copyright me. Please don't copyright me. Disclaimer at the end. And I don't blame the voice actors for this. I feel like this was maybe the directors or whoever was wanting to pause, because this is so consistent without the entire series. You know, stuff like that. But then you have a lot of great dialogue between amazing characters like Starscream. I was like, whoa, this guy has his stuff down. And I was just overall impressed. Anytime Starscream spoke, it felt right. It felt like he was Starscream, and the flow sounded just like Starscream.
The surrender stations are that way.
Thundercracker, scan.
Looters are to be executed on sight, let alone Autobots.
They definitely did him justice, and I think you can agree. Okay, my last few critiques are they're Autobots, and they walk and walk and walk and walk. And then the way that they look whenever they have any sort of hip rotation, instead of it being like the toy, where there's an actual rotation built into the toy, it distorts their abs and it just feels really odd. Okay, final thoughts time. Overall, I enjoyed it. It made me want more. Like, gimme, gimme, gimme. I want to know all these little things and these nuggets. But in a show that's only 6 episodes long, it's hard to give everything that you kind of set out to share in this lore that it builds on previously established things, but I want to know more within this universe. And unfortunately, I know we won't get that to the extent that I'm hoping for, because it's mostly just advertising for the toy line. If I had to give the show a rating, let's just get to it, I would give it 3 Energon cubes. And speaking of Energon cubes, I've lost 2 of them, so hooray. Last but not least, we're going to have a small giveaway. Giving away a copy of Decepticon Exhaust from the Generation Select line. Once I have 200 subscribers on YouTube, I'll randomly select one person from this video that comments below. If you're wanting more Transformers content and other video gaming content in the future, go ahead and subscribe to Moo's Crew, and Moo will be with you in the future. Just a note for the copyright owners, this video falls under fair use. There will be criticism, parody, and commentary. All that belongs to either Netflix, Rooster Teeth, Hasbro, Takara, and everyone in between. But me, I don't own any of that. All I own are my own criticisms, my parodies, and commentary. Thank you.